And we're back, folks. 2 ports of call XXL, going through the ship models 93 to 2002, at least, I'd say. Let's get right into the new, plenty of new models. Barfleur. Oh no, that's from last year. The Majestic, yes, that's the new one. Let's see then. A ferry. Wow, this is a flurry of ferries. Quite the alliteration. Since, when was it? 89? 87? 87. With all the prides. 86 even, the Pride of Bilbao. Right, so, the Majestic is expensive, fast. It can travel 30 days on the bunker at full speed. Well, it is a better ratio here than most other ferries, and it is much cheaper. So, probably not a bad option if we ever got there. Pride of Burgundy. Oh, that is much more fuel efficient. Much more fuel efficient. And faster. Though smaller. Right, well, still impressive. Celia Line, that's a huge ship. Wow. Me likey. It's like a communist building type thing. Look at that, just a wall of ship. Must have massive counterweights to stabilize the entire thing. 3,000 passengers. Celia Line, is this like one of the Danish? Denmark to Finland or Sweden to St. Petersburg or something? Baltic Sea ferries, maybe. Can travel 40 days out at sea. Tankers, let's see. All of that we've seen. We've seen Apollo Oshima. That's new. Not that very impressive. Not that big. Not that big. From that. Right. Well, gonna Suezmax. That's cheap though. Or the capacity. Maddie. Another one of these. Oh. Not even 3,000 tons worth of. How can you run these economically? They are more expensive. If we had started the game now, we couldn't even afford one of these. Navion Scotia. Again, not our type. Sea Panther. Sol do Brasil. Brazilian sun translated to. This is tiny. Fruit juice tanker. 240 what? Containers on top of the tanker capacity? Not sure how that'll work. And the Tordis Knudsen. Tordis. Strangely close name to a doctor's particular proclivities in terms of time travel. Not very impressive though. Small. Let's go to the cargo varieties. Is that new? No, that's 91. PCL Joanna, that is new. And tiny and pathetic. The California Senator 3000 is not even 300? No, 3000, definitely something there. Too large of a name for a very unimpressive ship, overcompensating most likely. We've seen that. We've seen the Fin Seal. The Livorno, yes, we know that. Maritime Master, the Mol Elba. Yeah, and the Napoli. Northern Delight is new? Yes, it is. Unimpressive. Paul Harding, 700. And yeah. Nothing that would bowl us over. Let's see here. Oh, amber. This is an odd ship. Can carry cars, can carry some passengers. A tiny, tiny amount of cargo. It's tiny, tiny ship. 122 meters long, but relatively speaking, tiny, tiny. Right. Can you even turn a profit on this thing? Maybe. The Caribbean Mermaid, again, not as good as the Captain Marco. Not as fast and smaller. And that's it? Huh. Well, not very impressive of you, 1993. And so on to 1994. Liners. Any new models? Rindam. Okay, now this is interesting. It's a fine looking ship with a slightly odd... Slightly odd back end there. Is there a pool or something? Well, probably some sort of special... leisure spaces at the back? Celia Europa, as we saw last time. Spirit of Vancouver Island. Oh. This is also a ferry. I would hazard a guess. Something to do with Vancouver Island. Elementary, my dear Watson. All the clues were there. And that's about it. No, not cargo. Let's go for the tankers first. Apollo Oshima, we saw that last year. Barunawati. That's a Suezmax, but kind of small for a tanker. When tankers come along, the bigger the better, even if they're underwater. I think the waterline is probably not well defined on this one. That is not a proper waterline to have on a tanker. No, we're fine here with the waterline over our heads. Yeah. And that's pathetically small. And we've seen... Okay, so no new tankers apart from the sinking one. That is also not very impressive in terms of stats. Cargo ships. Bucks Lagoon. Again, the series of ships with interesting names but completely nondescript stats. I mean, how many ships have we seen with a similar stat line? Similar characteristics all over the place. That's new, but smaller. And Mesk had offered us larger ones before, but quite a few years ago. Yeah, they're probably in the older ships now. Erna Aldendorf. Too small. Grand Fortune. Okay, now we're talking. An interesting bulk cargo ship. Hub Stella. These front tower ship designs are sort of growing on me. Because of their oddness. We've seen all of these, except the Hobart, I thought, and kind of average. Northern Delight, we saw. Suzaku is new. Yes, it is. Bulk cargo. Okay, well, Suezmax, however, as soon as you can't cross channels, have to go the old-fashioned way around Cape Horn and Cape of Storms of Good Hope after the Portuguese went past. Special ships, anything new? A lot of variants here. Mata and Amber we saw. Burk Exporter. Ah yeah, that's older. Celtic Star we saw. Jingu Maru was the ugly one. Yeah, Regulus. We had taken a look at Repubblica di Roma. Ah, this is the Pininfarina design one. What a great ship. But, no news in 1994. Moving to 1995, the liners. Eurostar Roma. Right. Well, it's certainly fast. Very fast ship. It's all leaning forward. You put in some flaming paint designs and it's probably going to go even faster, as everyone knows. The paint jobs completely change the characteristics of what it's painted on. And quite expensive though for how much it can carry. But it can get there fast. We've seen Burgundy and Kent. Europa Speedy Liner. Oh, now that's also fast. And that's even sleeker and leaning even more forward. Can barely make out the different levels. It's probably about 1, 2, 3, like 6 or 7 decks. With the windows, probably another 5 or 6 under that. So it's still quite big. Well, tall at least. Even though it seems, well, it's almost 200 meters long, so it's really large. But 500 passengers, that's smaller than the Rhapsodies we were running, and more expensive. So I don't know if the extra speed makes up for that. Not sure. Tankers. Let's see. Al Zubara. That's wow. That's an impressive looking liquid gas transport ship. Look at those babies. This is like Total Recall type cleavage here. Post Panamax. It isn't all that big though. 137,000 tons isn't that impressive. It's not that expensive. And it's quite fast for a tanker, so yeah, I think it can regularly make 50%. Yeah, so technically it can deliver cargo faster than a comparable size ship at this speed. So it would function more like a traditional 200 or 250,000 capacity tanker, which it, again, is not that impressive. All Samedun is that. Travels at 14. Cheaper. That's, yeah, not I like the design and the color scheme and the cleavage, but so what's new? Mary Onesold that we saw. Pathetic. Musashi Gloria we saw. Avian Scotia we saw. Azalea is new. Yes. Okay, well, another Suezmax under 300,000 tons. Not interested. The sinking Okinoshimamaru. Bye-bye. Cargo. BC Ultron we saw. Bergaland we saw. Cape Jacaranda. That's new. And big. We've seen this type of ship before, though. Colombo Bay. Okay, now we're pushing container ship sizes up a bit. 60,000 tons at 24 knots is starting to look interesting. Hub Grandiose is tiny. Don't call the thing the opposite of what it is. It just looks sad and pathetic. Grandiose, it's tiny. Well, 130 meters long and 25 meters tall, tiny. It's a big thing, as far as shipping goes, not so big. Right, Milan Express. Well, it's cheaper than most ships of that size. But, Norfolk Express, Hapag-Lloyd. Okay, well, we're getting to fair size, good speed, not too expensive territory here. Sydney Express, we've seen before, and so have these, yeah. The Zhenhe was... Did we see this? Probably. That is quite quick. I can only do 10 days with... 15 days, rather. Top speed with that bunker, though, so... most likely never actually reach that speed on an actual trip. 17,000 tons? Pretty good for a container ship. Pretty good. And Crimson Mercury, what a name. And a horrible, horrible ship design. That's ugly as sin. Wood chip carrier, wow. Right, and that is it. Onwards and upwards to 1996. And is there anything new here? Written down we've seen. No new liners. Okay, well. Tankers. We've seen that Gernutzen. Right. Not the Suezmax, but not large enough. Hellespont Trinity. Yeah, we had some Hellesponts. They were better than this guy. Much bigger. Hyundai Star, we did see that. Musashi Gloria, yes. Navix Azalea. Omine-san. Again, middle of the road. Stella Waya. Pathetically small. Right. Well. And I get it. Tiny. Tiny, 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 tiny. APL Turquoise. Okay. So that's the first Suezmax container ship we've seen? Maybe. Huh. Askabat, unimpressive. Seen that. Oh, Colibri. Well, it is tiny. Appropriate name for that, Colibri. Colibri meaning hummingbird in many languages. Colombo Bay. Conti Shanghai is new. No reefers. Quite fast. Container ships are getting fast these days. Quite expensive though. And Ockelsdorf, we've seen Hero. That's okay. Abstella, we've seen Kalana. Oh my god. It's the one container ship. You can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 rows of 4 containers each. That's 20 abreast. How many can fit in? So it has 10 meters beam. Container ship, standard container size. I don't know what it's maybe, what, 3 meters wide? So it probably can carry 3. So it's got 60 containers. Quick estimate. That's nothing. 60 containers is nothing. Well, if you got $1 million lying around, you could probably get yourself one of these. Magnavia. Not impressed by that. New Accord. Again, not impressed by that at all. Northern Delight we've seen. OCL Canada we've seen. Pacific Traders no. Yes, it is. Again, not impressed by that. Sydney, the Valencia Express is new, but I've seen so many of these already. Yuhai worse than the Sea Guardian, but same type of configuration there. Any special ships? Baltic Bright. Car transport. Okay. Tiny car transport. Crown Opal Reefer. Right, so. And it's fast. Not as good as the Cap San Marco, though. Nothing beats the San Marco. Ortviken. Another car transport. Much bigger, though. Huh? Not sure we would ever buy one, though. Right, that's 1996. As far as 1997 goes, we have one new liner here. Ooh, that's futuristic looking. That is a post-Panamax. Ouch. How is that a post-Panamax? Oh, I think it's the beam. Why is it so wide? That's an odd Wow. 40 knots? Can only do that for 15 days, but wow, is that fast. That's like military fleet speed. I mean, large carriers and battleships and whatnot cannot do that speed, I don't think. Maybe in a pinch, but not consistently over long periods of time, I wouldn't think. Not that modern fleets use battleships so much, but I'd say World War II up to, 1960s type ships, many of which are still in service. Don't do 40 knots, I don't think. Or, yeah, can do, but typically don't. So that's really fast. Is that why it's so wide? Does it need to be that wide to be this fast? You would think that the opposite would be true, but not a ship engineer, ship designer. Let's go. Tankers. Anything new? I've seen these. The Knudsen is yes. Not very impressive though. That's a disappointment. Hellspawn Trinity we've seen. Star we've seen. This is that's Vanitas is new. Small. They're going small these days. Why? What happened in 96, 97? Okay. Al Ashtan again, quite small. There was no oil crisis in 97. I don't know why they're going so small. Anyway, that's a very disappointing 97. 1998, a year dear to every French heart, if you're interested in football, that is. If not, the Canberra, wow. Spick and span, clean lines, wowie wow. It's only a 3-star. The Canberra 2, yes, there was an old Canberra, I do remember that. The Norway was quite impressive too, but there was an old. It's probably not even on the market 97 anymore. Yeah, there was an old Canberra cruise ship that we were considering purchasing at one point and sometime in the 70s or 80s. But, right, Canberra Mark II. Impressive ship. Not as good as Norway, but very impressive. Eurostar Roma we've seen. Pacific Palace. Okay, well, slightly smaller, but ugly design. Black on white on red. Almost looks like a Third Reich swastika flag, and Hakenkreuz, that is. Not actually a well, contentions between what is the Hakenkreuz and swastika and the Buddhist and Native American swastika symbols that go the other way. It's quite large. You can carry cars and trailers on top of the passengers, though. So this is, I'm guessing, I don't know, a ferry in Singapore, and Indonesia, and China, Japan, somewhere in Asia. I'd hazard a guess. Right. Not sure I'd buy any, though. APL turquoise, we've seen. Azkaban, we've seen. Barrister, that's new. And tiny. Next. Berga Atlantic. Okay, well, wouldn't mind having one of these in fleet, but Cape Mercury, very similar. And it's a hover ship. it's the it's the what was the other one? I forgot. It was one of these somewhere. Where is it? I forgot. What was the sinking ship? Oh well, anywho. Thelius, another tiny pathetic ship. That would probably be the one we had to start if we only had this much money. CMA Agadir, Colibri. To follow the Colibri and the Young, it's smaller. Why? London Express, now this is more like it. 300 meters long. The beam allows it to go to Panama and the Suez. It is fast, it does use quite a bit of fuel, but huge bunker. So it can travel for a long time, over a month at full speed, 24 knots, not bad. Conti Shanghai we've seen, a lot of new models I think. Ship to London, did we see this last year? Maybe we missed it. Düsseldorf Express, nice. Halo Cygnus, a bit small and slow for a bulk cargo ship. Hansa Constitution. Did we miss the cargo ships in 97? I think we did. Post Panamax. Not big enough to justify that, I don't think. Hyundai Future. Too small. Luha. Right. Not bad. Could have more reefers. Magnavia, that we did see. Milan Express, we did see. Bucharest Kalkavan. Bit small. Bit too small. Ogishma. A large bulk carrier. Run of the mill, we've seen plenty of those. Ottawa Express. Bit too middle of the road. Pembroke Senator. Too small. And a post Panamax? What are these ship designers thinking? Selena, wow, now this is more like it. 25 knots, 100,000 tons, wow, 2,300 reefers. Now this is more like it. Yes, baby. Sumire, Sydney, that's fine. Top Sugar is certainly not top. Yohai we saw. Right, well, one really big and nice container ship we saw there. Asian Chorus. Not convinced. Eurocargo Istanbul, that's new and tiny. Grande America. Yeah, these are the same design. From, what was the ship's name? Repubblica di Roma? Repubblica di Roma, yes, that's it. But smaller? Okay. Shorthorn Express. Ah, tiny and pathetic. Well, well, well. One big boy and a load of middling examples there. Into the next year, Bonanza Express, 1999. Super fast. Super fast. Is this a catamaran design? Kind of looks like it. Is this an Ostend to Calais ferry? I remember traveling on a cat-style ferry that was really fast. Sort of skimmed on skis more than actually sailing. Commodore Skipper. A bit too small too. Condor Express again. Super fast. Super fast. Maybe a bit too small. Excelsior. That's more like it, but too expensive for what it is. Pride of Aloha. Wow, now that's a 5-star accommodation. The really tacky flourish there. This is the type of ship that, if it were a person, it would wear Crocs. Unironically. But otherwise, big, fast. Voyage of the Seas. Again, floating midair. Super expensive, but oh my god, this is the jewel of the crown. 3,000 5-star passengers. Traveling at 24 knots. 8,000-ton bunker can travel anywhere on the world to anywhere else on the world. In the world at 24 knots. For a cool $500 million. However, expensive, but oh my, if we could, we'd buy one. Hubba. Ah, Bro Atlant. I think we saw this, but not very good. Hellas Pontettina, too small. Trinity, we didn't like either. Margara, too small. Scandia and Svanita we saw. The Vega we saw, too small. Ashton, too small. Tikrit was also too small. Yeah. Let's go to the cargo line. Amy N. Did we skip this one? Maybe. Don't remember seeing the bulk carrier this large. Interesting, even though it's a Suezmax. And I get we didn't like. Turquoise Escalade, I don't like. Barrister, didn't like. BBC Canada is new and tiny. Cape Lotus, middle of the road. Following up the Cape Mercury. And new CMA. Okay, so which ones did we see then? Calnipri Matisse is new. Yeah, Matisse is new and too small. Skikda is new and even smaller. Long we saw. London Express. Middling. Contrip London. Middle. Düsseldorf Express was also, yeah, kind of big, but not exactly large enough. Ever Uranus. Or Uranus for the extremely conservative Puritan minded out there that want to incorrectly pronounce planets' names. The post Panamax is me no likey. It's not large enough to warrant a non-canal crossing ship. If you need to go a long way around, you better carry enough stuff to make it worthwhile. Magnavia we've seen. Makiri Green we hadn't. That's too small. Mal Faithful we don't like. The Kalkavan we didn't like. New Accord we didn't like. Yishima. Keep it here. Seville. Ugh. Sevilla. Too small. Auto Express was also, yeah, middling. Trader the same. Salina is new. Or is that? No, that's the one we liked. That's the one. Skagen Maersk. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, baby, baby. Now this. Yes. This is where our kind of ship starts coming along. Look at this, baby. The Salina has more reefers, though. 10 million more expensive. Yeah, and ooh, I just saw the bunker is tiny, tiny on this thing for a ship this size. Can barely go 15 days on top speed. That's a liability. I don't like that. Salina's much better. Tonghai, Uni-Pacific, nothing very impressive apart from the Maersk, if not for that bunker. It's Achilles' heel. And uneven container distribution. Any special ships coming out this year? Caroline Ross. Okay, another ferry. Mostly for cars, though. Fairly cheap. Air cargo symbol we've seen. Grand American Jader we saw. Merlin Arrow. Forest product carrier. Very expensive for the size and capacity. Mignon. Oh, what a cute name for an ugly ass ship. Look at this thing. Again, don't name things the opposite of what they are. If it's ironic, a sarcastic remark on how ugly it is, maybe they have a good sense of humor at Willemsen. Maybe. It's very expensive for the size as well. Shorthorn we saw. Transbutre's new. Tiny. Tiny, 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 tiny. Okay, well, let's move into the last year of the millennium, 2000. Yes, people, that was still past millennium. There was no year zero. Learn to do math. And now that we have learned how to do maths, we are in the year 2000. Nice. That's a nice cruise ship. Mid-sized, but serviceable in every way. Trans Express we've seen, Canberra we've seen, Commodore Clipper we've seen. Causeway, right, so another ferry. The Excelsior, seen that, not impressed. Normandy Express, very fast, probably one of the La Manche ferries. Aloha, Radiant Opal, Ragnar Spirit, Ragnar Spirit. That is super expensive for a ship this size. Ouch. Standard Nordica and Voyager of the Seas, our dreamboat, of course. Tankers, anything new? De la Maersk. Nice and big boy. Castaurus, too small, and Pana. What? 50,000 ton ship that is a post Panamax. Who's going to buy this crap? And oh, young lady. Again, too small for a post Panamax. What were these designers thinking? Come on, come on, come on, come on, people. Antwerpen Express. That's fine. That's fine. Aarhus, tiny. Bohemian Express. A bit on the too small for my liking size again. BBC Finland, even more so. And what else is new? The Canberra Express. Middle of the road. The CMA. I think we've seen all of these. Yes. Dusseldorf, seen. Engine Ottawa, that's more interesting. Engine Ottawa, 68,000 tons post-Panamax, but too small of a bunker for that amount of potential fuel usage at maximum speed. I don't like that. A ship needs to be able to do at least a full circumnavigation, I'd say. And 26 knots for, 15 days will not do that. So, if a ship cannot go from any port to any other port with one bunker full, it needs to. It needs to. Well, in the game, obviously. In real life, most ships have defined routes and they just do the same route over and over and over again. So they don't need to have a bunker over that requirement. HDS Generation 6000. Okay, now this is more to our liking. Look at this big boy. Yes, indeedy. We like that. Koryu. Okay, we've seen plenty of cargo ships like that. Those, that's fine. Fine. Let me see. Leia, too small. Spiegelgracht is the weirdest configuration ever. It reminds me of the old MS-DOS game Paratrooper that has like a base like this and a turret on top, just like that. These kind of look like AA guns. These are obviously cranes. Why do they have these elevated? I don't understand. Well, it's probably for ill-equipped ports. The ship has its own cranes like this. The port doesn't need to have cranes. Probably why. Tasman, large, but larger than mid-sized ships, not large to be one of the biggest ones. Not very excited about that, and a fine entry, but unimpressive. Special ships. Alien quarters you've seen. Autostar, car box type thing that we're not interested in. Fenrir, again, car transport, smaller and leaner. Lady Rassis, terrible and tiny. Maersk Flanders, probably car transport out of Antwerp or something. But very, very small and only 50 containers are worth. Yeah. The ugly one. Union Emerald. It's a tugboat. Look at the teeny tiny tugboat. Look at it. It's adorable. It has accommodation, but only for the captain. No one else. 0 passengers. It can carry 500 tons of stuff at 13 knots. It doesn't use any fuel, though. It could... Wow. Super economic engine. That is 5 days per ton. That's 500... Really? That's 500 days per 100 tons? It can sail on and on and on and on and on and on. Wow. Huh. Yeah, it can go 500 days per 100 tons. This thing could be at sea for a decade without refueling. That's not realistic. There's no ship that can do that. I'm pretty sure. How is the bunker 600 tons? Does the ship even fit that much? I doubt it. But it made my day. Teeny tiny tugboat. Just before the millennium hits. And here we are, new millennium, 21st century. And we've seen all of these. Condor Express, Excelsior. Oh, Pride of Hull, that's new. Another ferry, though. Seen that. The World. Okay. I would have thought it'd be bigger than that. Only 656 passengers. Well, I say only. Huge. And quite fast and economical. Okay, this is a pretty good cruise ship. Not a Voyager though, but not every ship can be a Voyager. Tankers. I see a new one. Booty or Buddy. Not very impressed. Lamarck you've seen. Alice Bontatino you've seen. Margar you've seen. Sea Mullet. Does it drink piss beer like Budweiser and married their cousin or something? It's a terrible ship and unsurprising with a name like that. Young lady you saw. Stand of Victory is new. That's more like it. For over 300,000 tons. That's a decent. That's a decent tanker. That's a decent tanker. Cargo ships. What's new in 2001? Arthus, we've seen. Hayman, we've seen. Canada, Finland. Mexico is new and pathetically small. Cap Matapan, middle of the road. Can never tell these apart. We've seen all of these. Generation 6000, we've seen. Kerry Green, we've seen. The Neva. I'll never buy the Neva. That's what I say. Sydney. Tasman and Tonga, we've seen. Top Sugar, Union Pacific. 235. The 263 is slightly larger but carries fewer containers, more reefers. Slightly faster. Slightly bigger bunker, slightly more expensive, and also has a stern thruster that the previous model didn't. So it's an upgrade. It's a year-on-year redesign upgrade. That's fine. Autostar we don't like. Crimson Neptune. Again, great name, ugly ass ship. Jaeger Arrow. Wow, again. Man, paper carrier. It's not even fast. What are you talking, Jaeger Arrow? Merlin Arrow. No, no, no. Transbotnia Union Emerald is our favorite one. And that is it for 2001, I guess. On to the last entry to this episode. 2002. Causeway, the Highlander. We didn't see that. Again, it's a year-on-year redesign type thing. Slightly better, arguably. But, Mont Saint-Michel, another Brittany ferry. Huge capacity, huge price tag to go along with it. Ooh, baby. Norwegian Dawn. 4-star, over 2,000 passenger cruise that makes 25 knots and can... Okay. This one can be underway for over 20 days. That is what we like to see. This big boy can go anywhere from anywhere with one bunker full. 350 million price tag though. Oh boy. You've seen this, Seven Seas Mariner we saw last year. The World again. Okay, so a nice little... Yeah, it's part of Plato Aloha as well. Yeah, nice little handful of different cruise ships that we potentially could have in our fleet if we had got this far. Tankers. Carlos Fisher. Interesting name. Tiny ship to carry fruit juice. Not convinced by its commercial viability. Well, if it exists, it probably someone ordered it, but not for us. We've seen the Mullet, we've seen the Maersk, we've seen the Margara. We haven't seen... Ooh, no, we hadn't seen this one. And we would have bought this, pretty sure, for 140,000 tons of tanking capacity. When you absolutely positively have to carry all the oil in the world from point A to point B except no substitutes. Cargo ships. BBC Canada, yeah, all these are duplicates. Might want to go into the game files and replace these. Remove these rather. These duplicates. This is clearly a mod-induced error. Having duplicated. They do have slightly different stats. And waterline. So definitely some tweaking that me or another modder did at some point. I haven't touched these files in at least a decade, so I don't remember. Euro Snow, too small. You've seen Maersk Falmouth. Too small again. Waterford, too small. Never by never. Shenzhen, okay. Now this is a big one that we would probably like to have. The Rikmers Hamburg. Probably not. Skagenmersk, Spiegelgracht, we've seen, I didn't like. Oh, another... Oh, come on. You need to come up with something new. And this... Okay, they redesigned it. It can carry a lot more cargo. It uses up a lot more fuel. It has a slightly larger bunker to accommodate that. Okay, one high is sort of improving inch by inch. Nothing revolutionary there. Special ships. You've seen that before. You've seen every one of these ships before. Yeah. No news in the special ship front for 2002. Well. So let's go with, where was the Norwegian Dawn? Yes, that was it. Let's go with the flagship of the year here. Yeah, so another 10 years in ship models. And we've still got 20 more years to go till 2022, the current year as the recording of this. So you can take a look at all the ship models in the game. Oh, well, obviously not all of these are in the base game, for instance. As I mentioned this at some point in the game, typically the models that seem flatter, that have little to no shading effects, are in the base game. That ships that look a bit like, compared to the cargo ships, it's particularly visible. Ships that have, yeah, that look like this. Like basic Photoshop gradient or something. These are base game ships. Every ship that has texture and markings and multicolored containers like that, these are ships that the community scanned and made profiles of and added to the game, and that I added to the game when modding my specific version to my liking. So there's a lot more variety to go through, and unless you've got the specific list that I've got in the episode comments below, my add-on list, you won't get these specific models either, so you have to add quite a few yourself if you want to play with them. So, still 20 years to go, but that is going to be next time. Until then.